Summer Sam with the 4-foot county killer, how he gets his orders to kill some black labs. That's how it starts, you know. Drove him crazy.
All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Just a reminder, we'll have everybody silence your cell phones. We'll start with roll call.
Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councilor Horton. Councilor Klinkhammer.
Here.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Here.
Councilor Scalise.
Here.
Councilor Spradlin. Councilor Tyree.
Here.
Great. We have a quorum. Approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or revisions for the agenda tonight? If not, look for motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for the regular meeting September 8th of 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Klinkhammer.
Yes.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. The motion passes. Approval of the minutes. We've had a chance to read through the minutes of our last meeting. Does anybody have any corrections? Look for motion to approve.
I move that we approve the minutes from the August 25th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Councilor Klinkhammer.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. Now motion passes. Visitors and delegations. We have Jody Walker here from Kids at Their Best. Give us a little presentation.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for opening your doors and inviting me in. And I hear that some of you will be coming on Saturday night. It'll be fun. Thank you. You make the clicker work. So I'm Jody Walker. I'm the founder and executive director for Kids at Their Best, for those of you that don't know me. And I'm really excited to present this year because we've spent the last 14 months on strategic planning, on some additional things, and if you know CATB, you know that we're always really excited, we're always doing a really lot of exciting things, and about then your eyes start rolling back in your head because there's a whole lot of more things to do. So we've synthesized all that this year into it's not what we do, it's how we do it. And I'm really excited to start presenting this to everybody because we are an impactful piece in Morgan County in youth development and in empowering our youth to be the best kids that they can be. And we have some amazing kids out there. So for those of you that don't know, Brush is our roots. 19 years ago, I wanted to start a dance studio that would provide dance for every kid that couldn't afford it on a sliding scale. And we were right down on the corner of Edison and 34, where the Cornerstone building is now. And we started doing dance lessons, and it wasn't too long before we realized that dance wasn't enough, and what about boys, and if you couldn't afford the sliding scale, and then transportation in Morgan County, and we started doing outreach. So that's the only reason that we left Brush, because Ron Prasher was the chamber director, and Brush welcomed us with open arms. So it took us a little while to get back here, but we're back to Brush year-round. We're working over in Beaver Valley with our co-op program, which is our STEM Ventures. It's a pilot program from the state of Colorado. We are 1 year into a 3-year grant, and we were highlighted as one of the best programs in the state. So that was pretty exciting. And our goal is to continue to make Brush a place where youth get to thrive close to home. Because you all know, like how you have Brush kids and they're all going to work in Fort Morgan. We want your Brush kids working right in Brush. So the little kids are looking up to the older kids and seeing where they can be. Who we serve, we're serving all of Beaver Valley. We had to choose 4 schools, so we couldn't do everybody. The cool part about Beaver Valley is that Beaver Valley and Thompson work together for Literacy Night and for STEM Night, so we get an overlap on those. We target youth from low-income immigrant, refugee families, families that have lived here forever. That's where our start is, because those are the hardest people to place. But we're open to everyone. And we have, in our staff this summer, we had 120 staff members that covered the gamut. Again, for our focus, kids that are facing poverty, food insecurity, and lack of opportunity, which are always those hard things to address in our communities. The CATB approach, we give youth what they need, not what we think they need. Our focus and our direction for all of our programs is always led by our youth. Our programs go around the kids. Instead of forcing kids into a program, our kids build the program. And if you've ever seen our kids at an event, Bobstock is a really good example. We do a cotton candy booth at Bobstock. We decide if we're going to do it when we bring on our summer staff, and then they design it, which is how this has evolved from a tent with cotton candy machine to flamingos walking around the place, there's stands, there are hawking candy cane. Those are all ideas that came from the kids. I do not want to do those things. Those were not my ideas. But everything is youth-led. The staff and the youth reflect the diversity and all the diversity of our community. And the new thing that we've realized and we've really set into, we don't do charity, we do partnerships. And I don't do partnerships that are like, oh my gosh, I listed 6 people that are going to be my partners on paper. I do partnerships where you're getting something and we're getting something, and it truly works to benefit the community. Oops, this is the most important part. So this is what's come out of our strategic plan, is that it's not what we do, because we do a lot of things. We do food, we do jobs, we do after school, we do speech sometimes. What it is it's how we do everything. We do everything with an equity lens, because Morgan County is incredibly diverse. Socioeconomically, culturally, Morgan County is a very diverse county, so equity is always in our lens. We engage our youth, we connect them with the programs, we put them out in the community. We don't just sit back and have an after-school program where we're at after school and you never see us. Our kids are out in the community engaging with social clubs, with everyday people. We empower our children by paying them, by providing them real-world experience, and by making connections for them. So when they leave our employment program, it's not that they've got a resume and they know what kind of job they're looking for. It's that they have a social network. They know who they're putting down as a reference. They know who they can call for advice, and we build that whole thing out. And then finally, we're trying to establish ourselves as the status of excellence on the Eastern Plains. We've been awarded the El Pomar Rural Excellence Award, which was a huge honor a couple of years ago, because excellence isn't something that people equate with rural America, which is garbage, because we're really good at here. And we do it with barriers against us. So we're trying to set that standard. Our community impact, we employ over 100 kids annually. Many of you have kids that have been employed in my program. We employ them close to home so they don't have to travel. We help you build professional networks. We teach responsibility, communication, and teamwork. All of our team has staff meetings. All of our team has a role in those staff meetings. And then we always leave room for learning and mistakes. Because when you're a 14 or 15-year-old, you will do something dumb because you don't know any better. And we're a really safe place for that to happen, because we're going to talk about it and figure out how they're not going to do it next. Which is also why a lot of people look to Kids at Their Best when they're looking for youth employees, because we've already gone through the rough spots and started to smooth them out. Why it matters in Brush is because not everything gets to Brush. We want to have an established presence in Brush. It's not all about Fort Morgan. We believe that Morgan County is all-encompassing. We have our youth summer programs, the food access sites. We have the Beaver Valley program that will run September through May. And then summer programs run June and July. And then we wind it all down in August. And our kids are your future leaders and your future employees and your future community builders. And with that, and with our strategic plan, I usually come up and I'm like, hey, we do lots of things, you should be excited about us. Part of that strategy is building out our budget. We went from a $100,000 budget in 2020 to a $2.1 million budget today. We're now asking back into that partnership thing. We're asking a lot of our, not a lot, we're asking everybody to come in with us with some financial support, because in as many things as Brush does for us, we all know what the almighty dollar does. And that's how I pay my kids. So we're asking for we're asking you to consider a $2,000 partnership. This will support our part-time staffing and stabilize our Brush programs. So we know that we'll have staffing for summer. We know that we'll have staffing for the school year. That one's paid for. Summer is usually the one that we're really looking for. We've got consistent mentoring and the youth leadership. It's a small investment for a big community return. And it partners directly with Brush in shaping our rural futures. CAPI isn't just a youth program. We are youth empowered. And we started using that tagline about 10 years ago. We are youth powered, but by being youth powered, we empower the youth. And as always, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions?
Is this modeled, is there like a national model or anything, or did you create this?
This is created specifically for Morgan County. We've been, truth be told, we've been courted about taking it nationally.
Mm-hmm.
We're not quite there yet. We're gonna polish off a few other things where we're at.
Very cool.
But what we found was when I first started this, and everybody's like, oh, what national model are you using? It's like, none of them fit for us. None of them fit rural Colorado. None of them fit a diverse population. So we've been kind of creating the plane while we're flying it, but we haven't crashed yet, so there's that. So yeah, it's a very unique model. We speak nationally, I speak nationally 3 or 4 times a year at 3 or 4 different conferences. Last year was the first year that none of our kids came with. This year, 2 of my staff have put in for conferences so far because we have a really unique model. And it's been built on we have a really big budget now. It's because we've got state and federal dollars. This was built on community input and community donations and the way something small should be built.
How many kids go to the Beaver Valley site?
We try and average about 30 or 35 a day. We actually have 55 enrolled this year, assuming that they will not all come every day. But we start next week, so ask me that question in another 10 days.
I'm sorry if you answered this already, but you said you worked with schools on STEM night. What is a STEM night?
STEM nights, science, technology, engineering, and math.
Okay.
So the big grant that we got from the state of Colorado is to specifically improve the math and science scores in our communities. But rather than saying, hi, you need to take another math test and let's do another minute math, we're able to come in with all different kinds of experiments and presentations, and we have 3D printers, we have drones, we have all the fun stuff, and we're the fun after-school program that just might be squeezing math and science in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is 4 days a week in Brush?
It is. We do 4 hours a day on your off day, and so the kids make lunch, but lunch is designed around math. You have to measure, you have to do all of those things. We cut the quesadilla into half, and the half goes into a quarter, so we're working on fractions, and then it's 2 hours a day for the other 3 days a week.
What age kids are you working with?
Our program officially covers 6 to 26. In Brush right now, we have Beaver Valley because the state locked us into schools. So we only have the 3rd through the 5th graders right now, but our summer program starts with 6-year-olds. So we make sure that they have stability. We make sure that they have food. We make sure that they have somebody that cares about them. We make sure that they have something to do. And then as those kids age out, we start getting them to volunteer and teaching those leadership skills, because every one of my little kids will tell you that they want to be like the blue shirts. Because in the summer we have those Caribbean blue shirts. Then we start hiring kids as young as 13 and 14. We hire them on a part-time basis. It's their first job. I'm pretty sure everybody up on this board raked leaves, babysat, shoveled snow, and did all those little things that were available when we were kids, and those just aren't available for kids anymore. So we try and open those doors and get them in and get them that first taste of employment. What does it mean to be responsible? How do you call off sick? How do you show up every day? No, not just Monday. I need you here every day. And then that expands through our program. When they turn 17, they can be involved in AmeriCorps. Our AmeriCorps program runs every summer, and then we have, right now we have 4 year-round positions. And those positions are a volunteer position. They're paid a stipend for living. And then they accrue somewhere between $1,500 and $7,500 in educational credits that they can use for whatever school they choose. And a lot of schools are doubling down on that. Haven't got MCC to do that yet, but we're working on it. And then after they do the AmeriCorps, as they're going through college, we have a lot of kids that come back from college and then help manage our summer programs. And they work through the summer.
What's the working relationship with the school district? Do they just give you space at the school, or you have to rent it, or how does
I
that work?
cannot speak highly enough of the Brush School District. Where would you like me to start, Monty? So one, when we launched this pilot a year ago, it was this, hi, I'm a nonprofit, I'm now here to do an after-school program, and the school's going, yo, we haven't heard anything. Because there seemed to be this little glitch with the state not mentioning this to anybody. It was kind of important. So Brush is like, we just need to meet every month. We need to talk every month. I need to understand who you are, what you're doing. They have been so fabulous. They give us space at the school. They do not charge us for that space. They send out all of our announcements, information. We've got a great system with them. I would like to, Brian Singley, bless his heart, we missed sending out a flyer to them. So he took our information, pasted it into this monster flyer, and was like, hey, it doesn't look good, but I got your flyer out. So it's that great partnership of picking up where other people leave off. The other thing is we always get our summer meals from Brush. Your meal program is just fabulous. And our kids always love the meals. And we've been doing that for almost 10 years now.
Very cool.
So during the school year, it's called Kids at Their Best after school, or?
STEM Ventures is our official
STEM
title.
Ventures. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
And then summer is Summer Blast, because we let the kids name summer, and I really hate it. But that's just me.
Very good.
Pretty cool.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you for taking the
appreciate our
time to
partnership
be
and-
here, and yeah.
Thank you for letting us, thank you for letting us give our spiel.
Appreciate it.
Have a fabulous evening.
Thank you. You
I'm gonna go
too.
steal my zip drive that apparently works and hang on to it like it's the only zip drive that worked that efficiently.
It did work well. Thank you,
Thanks,
Jody.
guys.
Thank you, Jody.
If the council wants, we can add this to our donation request.
Okay.
You usually approve every year, so we'll do that through the budget process.
Okay, perfect. Very good. All right, next we have citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing scheduled. There's a 5-minute time limit per person unless otherwise noted by the mayor. There's no formal action taken on any item that's not on the posted agenda due to the open meeting law provision. However, they may be placed on a future posted agenda if action is required. Do we have anybody here for citizen comments? Nope. All right. We will move on to management. We have a public hearing on an ordinance. So I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing, and we'll get a staff report from Tyler.
Very good, thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, City Council. So, taking you back to last month, we had a public hearing in which this request specifically was part of it, rezoning. It was approved by council, but through the process of rezoning it as required in ordinance, and therefore the necessary readings as well. So here we are a month later. Publications have gone out, giving the community the opportunity to provide any additional concerns, feedback, and so forth on rezoning. That is my report.
Okay.
Let's just specify, this is for the property at
On Road R?
Ellsworth. give me the
Ellsworth,
exact address.
okay.
Almost right across the street from the fairgrounds.
That's what I was, okay. The other way. Okay, and they were here, I don't see them here this time for this one, so, okay. Then we have public testimony. I don't think we have any members of the public to make any comments for or against this, it doesn't look like. All right. Members of the public have an opportunity to make statements either in support of or in opposition to the ordinance. So, if we don't have anybody for that. Then we will move on to council deliberations. So we've already talked about it and thought it was a good idea, so I don't know if there's anything more to deliberate. It was gonna clean up the property a little bit.
Allow
and,
for extra residences eventually is what it sounded like.
Yeah. So, all right. So if there's nothing else, I'll go ahead and look for a motion to close the public hearing.
I move we close the public hearing.
Second?
Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, so the hearing is closed, so we'll move on to the second reading for this ordinance. So I'll need a council member to make a motion on second reading to approve this ordinance, correct?
I move on second reading, ordinance number 915-25, approving a minor subdivision and rezoning certain real property from residential to mobile home to medium density residential district.
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. And then we have another second reading from the public hearing we had last time.
This one's actually not a second reading, just a
Oh,
resolution.
okay, just the resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this standard process, a special use permit requires council approval, which is then codified through a resolution. We typically do it the meeting after, just in case, if during the meeting that night, additional changes need to be made, we don't have a resolution sitting there waiting. So this is just the codification of the approval from the last meeting through resolution of approving the special use permit, and then the language is laid out there, essentially a home business at the corner of Cameron and
Heat, I think.
Eaton, thank you,
Is it Eaton?
good call. And the carriage house there for a retail boutique 9 months out of the year.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
So we'll need a motion to approve this resolution.
I move to approve resolution number 2025-11, a resolution containing findings of fact, conclusions, and order granting the application of Jennifer and Jason Klingler for a special use permit for a home business for a seasonal retail boutique in the existing carriage house at 403 Cameron Street within the residential low district zoning district.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, roll call vote.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. We will move on to finance.
Justin.
Justin's
Justin.
I move we approve disbursements of payroll from August 26, 2025 to September 8, 2025, totaling $602,088.02.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, the motion passes. We are at staff report. We'll start with Tyler Purvis.
All right, Dale's not here tonight, so he asked if I could share a couple things that he passed on as well. For my neck of the woods, at our work session last meeting, we talked about the city being a grant pass-through for some improvements for some housing. So the deadline on that was really, really quick, October 1st, and so we met just this past week, and the developer thought that there's too much to do in too short of a time, so we're gonna have to kick the can down to the next grant period, which unfortunately is until May 1st of next year. But it is what it is, so just in case you're curious why that didn't come back up through a resolution tonight like we anticipated originally.
So hopefully everything goes forward as it gets closer. I'll brief council on any updates with that. The Office of Just Transitions that exists for communities that are impacted, have been or will be impacted by the elimination of coal-fired electrical generation plants. And so with Pawnee down the street, the Colorado Clean Energy Acts and requirements said no more coal fire. And so they're in the process shortly of closing down for a few months and converting over to natural gas. So it changes a lot of the components of the operation over there. But Office of Just Transitions, OJT, they put funds aside as a state, knowing that these mandates are going to impact these communities, because some plants such as out in Craig are closing down completely. And so all the taxing districts and the property tax revenue that generated, as well as jobs, is a huge impact to those communities. If you remember, originally that was the plan to close this one down as well. Since then, they've pulled back, and it still will operate just under natural gas, but the impacts are still a factor. And so with that, the funds have been put aside for Morgan County, and then early on it was decided through the group how those funds could be spread out and utilized to best offset the impacts of reduction of property taxes and any elimination of jobs in the community. So with that, a strategic plan has been put together and revised, and so we actually met today, a group of us, small group of us, representing the communities. One of the special districts, their executive director showed up as well, and then some representatives from the state. Long story short, we just went over the plan and talked about the best way to utilize the funds. I think there's roughly $700,000 to $800,000 available right now to be used for basically economic development purposes. And so we want to utilize those as much as possible. There's a whole process in place to actually utilize those toward projects. So we have a couple different ideas. We went on site tours today in Brush, specifically out at the Brush Agri Park. The properties, the Danielson's properties, they have a big industrial property just behind the prison, and then everything over off of the Armbar subdivision, over off of Crossway and Hospital Road as well. So more to come on that, but that's something we've been talking on and off for the last couple of years about. Jody Walker was just here with Kids at Their Best. It triggered a thought, a reminder that Rural Philanthropy Days is coming to Northeast Colorado. It's done by, I think, the Community Resource Center, and they exist to support nonprofits around the state, if not the state, the region, maybe even the country. But they do a lot of work in Colorado if they are outside the state. And so they bounce around each region of the state. And so it's back to the northeast part of the state this upcoming year. And basically what that does, that event, it connects nonprofits with potential funders. So they have all these, they might do it a little bit different each time, but essentially they have people representing large trust funds or large firms that exist to support nonprofits, the philanthropic organizations. And so they want to hear what you're doing and what they can possibly support to help make positive impacts within your community. So put that out for any small profits within our community. I know that they exist, and they're probably not aware of this. And so spread the word on that. I believe June of next year is when they're going to be
June
here.
26th.
And I don't know if it's where it's going to be out in the region just yet. But there's currently the group putting together kind of a task force to help organize that. So if anybody's interested in being a part of that, let me know. Last thing from me, totally random, but I think it's beneficial. Goat heads. We all love goat heads here, AKA puncture vines. You probably stepped on one getting out of your bed one day and got very angry at life. So those are a nuisance in our community. Dale and I have talked about it for quite a while, just randomly. They're a pain. Everybody knows they're a pain. They got all kinds of different things. So the state, the Colorado Department of Agriculture, they have some, I guess you can say, resources available to help combat puncture vine. And so puncture vine, it can produce thousands of seeds, each individual plant every year, and they can remain dormant for several years. So it might be sitting in the ground, it's not going to spring until 2028, you don't even know it, it's waiting to torment you then. And so it can be a very difficult weed to control, but they have weevils, which are little seed-eating beetles, real small ones, and you can actually purchase them from the Department of Agriculture. It's $30 per release of 100 weevils. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's how it's listed on their website. So I think they would send you a little package, and I don't know if you pick one up and put it down, or you kind of I have no idea. The information is not available online. But they essentially get down and they eat the plants themselves, and as they're, so they get down in the ground and help control, and if you do it over the course of a few years, can eliminate puncture vines. So if anybody's curious in our community on taking that on and testing it in their yard, you're more than welcome to. I'm gonna do it myself and see how it goes. I can report back in a year and a half if you want to let you know, but that's just a resource out there. I think it's generally made for like larger areas where they're just out of control, but I look in my yard, I mowed my grass yesterday, and I look around and it was depressed, just little ones popping up all over. So that resource is available for communities. If you look up weevils online, it's spelled W-E-E. It's basically we evils. That's how it's spelled, like an evil person, we evils. They're really cute looking, they got long snouts, but those are available for the community.
That would be an interesting high school like science project or something.
Sure.
For the fair, doing something like that.
Well, and our parks have, I mean, at the disc golf course, Doty Pond, they're really bad in our own parks. I mean, might be a good place to
Agreed.
try them.
Project.
Yeah, and we've reached out to the state actually for the Nox, Dale knows about all this because of the Noxious Weed Advisory Board, and so the State Department of Agriculture is tied into that. So we've actually reached out to the state to try to get them to set up an office out here to do a lot of different types of testing and things like that. We've had a couple of emails back and forth. I think they do want to come out here, it just hasn't gained any traction. So if that be the case, we could have that kind of experimentation going on right in our backyard, which would be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right, so off to that cool subject. A couple of comments from Dale. Just a reminder to everyone that Hospital Road north of Mill Street as well as north of I-76 is now 35 miles an hour in order to prevent traffic stacking with the new stores going in on Crossway. And then the second announcement is the current schedule for road preservation projects will start Monday, September 15th, with the milling of South Clayton Street and the parking sides of Emerson west of Hospital Road and Harvard north of 34 to Emerson. We will get notices out to affected residences as well as post on the website and social media once the scheduling is confirmed. These preservation projects are expected to last until the end of September with seal coating and chip sealing. This is our third year of heavy maintenance and look forward to a fourth next year. And that concludes me and Dale.
Okay, thank you. Chief Hochsteiner.
Evening, Madam Mayor, Council. I would be willing to jump on that resource because everybody in my house hates goat heads or pokies as we call them. So it's not a day one of the kids doesn't step on one of those. So anyway, get rid of them, that'd be great. Just a few quick things on my side of things. Axon has an AI program that will utilize the camera as a translator. So essentially, we hold it button down on the camera, and the person's talking to us identifies what that language is, and then it proceeds to use that as translation. We're looking at utilizing that and getting away from language line that we've used for quite a while. So I believe there's an agency, I want to say it was Yuma, was using it currently, was having good success. So we actually are getting a trial started on Wednesday, and if it goes really well, we're looking forward to moving towards that. So anything that makes communication with the public better, considerably better for us. Starting October 1st of this year will be the first year the police department is going to be wearing peak badges in honor of, or I should say awareness of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we just got those in today. So starting 2025, we're going to start doing that from now on. I've also talked to my supervisors and staff if there's anything else that they feel very passionate about that we can potentially do to kind of present to the public and the community, because obviously if we've got a plethora of officers in our agency that have very, strong feelings about things, and chances are they probably have people in the community that feel the same way. So if we can help kind of promote something and kind of bring awareness to things, we're going to continue to do that in different ways. I found out today the tornado siren on the east end of town is working or is intermittently working. So I had a gentleman call in today, said that he hadn't been hearing the siren for some time. I had been unaware of the problem, so we did kind of test it today, as everybody probably was aware of, and did find that we couldn't hear it in that particular location. So if you can let your constituents know, we're going to reach out to the company that put the sirens in, and hopefully they can get that fixed. Lastly, since he decided to hang out with us this evening, I did want to take a moment to shout out Nathan Christ for finishing up a leadership course he had at the University of Denver over the last few months. It's ultimately, I think it was 3 weeks, 3 weeks worth of classes that he took, learning a bunch of different directions of leadership and just get better about being a good leader for the rest of the officers underneath him. So he had his graduation on Friday. It was a very good opportunity. They have a couple of different presentations and things. So he's shown a lot of growth just from that 3-week class over the last few months. So we're super excited to see what he can present and help us move forward.
Very good.
If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, anything recently come up? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Fire Chief York.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple things. So Saturday, we had the first annual stair climb, and the Lions Club provided the breakfast. For the first year, it went okay. So we're looking forward to continuing that and hopefully get more involvement from the community. Secondly, our new radios are in and in service, so we no longer have to deal with Motorola. And then got notified today that our ladder truck has been pushed back to completion January to March. Their plant in Dublin is a union plant, and they are on strike.
Oh, no.
So they've only known that for 6 to 8 weeks, but
Just now telling you.
yeah, just now noticed
They were
this.
optimistic and.
So, yeah, we had a little phone conversation today. So, the chassis will be completed at the end of this month. We didn't have a mid-spection built into the contract because once how they're designing things now, it just kind of runs through the same process, so there's really not a good point to go do a midpoint, but with the chassis being completed months ahead of the ladder itself, we're going to try to go out to inspect the cabin chassis to ensure that everything's up to par with it. And lastly, we have 3 members that deployed to California for wildland fires out there. So they left last week, so they'll be back in a couple of weeks. And with that, anybody has any questions?
Good, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Lance Swin.
All right, I think Miranda's getting me set up here. Got some pictures of Prairie Trails. We did get the sod laid, and the Officer or Chief Flecksteiner and Officer Kreis flew their drone over there, and got some really cool pictures of the area. So got a ton of pictures, but there's a few here that I wanted to show you and kind of tell you where we're at with the ball fields and where we're going here this fall. I can kind of go and I'll talk about some of the stuff we were doing rec-wise while she's kind of getting that figured out. Our AOA group is still doing well. We just had a staff meeting last Friday, went over some things for the future of the group. I'd like to introduce Jan. She's actually kind of our main AOA in charge when we go to our meetings and everything like that. So she's been great to have on the board, and then she's also came up with a lot of great ideas. And we were just talking before the meeting, and right now we're taking some trips out of town, and we're doing a lot of different things outside of Brush. But we really want to start focusing in on having some more activities within Brush. We do have the dances, we do have the meet and greets, but we thought like the lights, holding still events and everything to try to get people underneath the lights, and then also just various activities that we can come up with. So if there's any sort of suggestions or ideas, we're all ears, and we're really trying to find more activities that people can do just within the city limits of Brush and not have to travel all the time too. So that's kind of our next focus for next year. The trips are great, all that stuff's great. But we want to find more and more activities that we can sponsor here within the city limits. Ooh, the Monday Night Football, that would definitely do there.
If nothing else.
But, and then, so speaking of the AOA, we had, our last speaker was Marcia Cody from the Brush School District. She did a great job of explaining kind of where they are now and what their mission is moving forward within the classrooms and stuff like that. I thought it was very interactive. It's usually about an hour and 15-minute meeting. 2 hours later, and we pretty much had to say, hey, we got to close this down because there was just so much interest in everything. The other, this coming one in October or in September will be the Chamber, and we'll be talking about Oktoberfest and the car show and all that. So that'll be the next presentation. And this past Sunday we had our final dance at the VFW. We will not have a dance in October since Oktoberfest is that first weekend, but they'll start holding their dances at the Moose Lodge in November. And it's either November 15th or 16th, it will be the date of that first dance. So we're still getting that all figured out, but that's going to be where the dances are held moving forward. As far as youth stuff goes, well, we do have a group of 31 people that just left Saturday to Memphis for our community trip. So they are in Memphis right now, having a good time and getting some pictures and everything. We ended soccer last week, started flag football this week, and our youth volleyball program starts tonight. So they're all over at Beaver Valley getting that going. And that's kind of where we're at as far as youth activities and everything else. Department's big into the budget season right now, so we're trying to get all of our stuff to Chris in a timely manner, but a little slow. And as far as here we go. So Prairie Trails, Graft Turf Farms, or not, used to be Graft Turf Farms, came out and they had put down the sod. Looks great. I talked to Marty today and he said it's actually rooting really well. We put fencing all around the whole thing just to protect it so no one drives on it or gets on it at this point. Irrigation's working excellent, and it's really been nice to be able to draft off the pond and be able to keep the pond recirculating. And speaking of which, they have stocked more fish into the pond, so they're periodically putting fish in when they get them. So that should be, able to be fished here, hopefully soon. You go to the next picture. So that's one of the aerials that we got that kind of shows the park. I talked to Gary yesterday, and now that we have all this done, we're going to go ahead and level this area in here, put gravel in between the fields and also out to the parking lot so people will be able to just walk in there and it won't be just a mud pit. He's also going to be putting our fencing and our dugouts in this fall with our backstops. So I think I wasn't here for it, but I think there was some questions about the dog park. Now that they're into it, we're still looking at different locations. There's a possibility it could still go back here. We have some drainage issues. I don't know if you've driven over there. So we're trying to get those figured out with the contractor. Eventually, we're going to pump that water into the ditches that go over there. That's what the plan was. But we just haven't got there yet because it literally has been wet pretty much for a long time when we can get to it. So the plan is to hopefully get that drainage cleared up. That'll be a possibility for the dog park, but that's not the only location that we've been talking about. We'd like to keep it around Memorial Park, just because there's so many visitors and so many, that just seems like the logical place to do. But nothing's been finalized yet, but we are weighing all the options as far as that goes. I think next year we'll, hopefully continue to move forward with some of the outfield fencing, because the fencing that's going to be done this year will just take care of the area, the backstops up to the dugouts. Around the rest of the area, that was a part of phase one. But, chipping away, apply for GOCO grants, and, when we get the big one, then we can do more. But this will at least give our kids places to practice, another area to have games, and I think it's going to be great when it gets done. So, looks great, the sod's doing great, everything's working really well at this point. So,
Lance, when you talked about leveling it and putting in the gravel,
uh-huh.
all I could think of was the puncture vine, a great place for the puncture vine.
Yeah, you know, the engineer, and, you know, when you get to a project like this, the engineer had thought putting native grasses in between the fields, but the more we thought about it, we just don't think that's a good idea. We think the gravel, people will be able to play catch. We're eventually going to be putting batting cages and everything in between the two fields. I mean, those are our future projects and stuff. So, just the people involved as this project has evolved, we're just kind of like, you know, let's be smart with this. Let's just put the gravel down. For one thing, all of our water lines are underneath it too. So if we have to get to them, it's not going to be a big deal, and go from there. And that's just kind of where we're at right now. You see the big area to the top, next to the small field. That's where another youth baseball field will eventually go. And then on the bottom part, way back when we first did this 28 years ago, that was going to be a large baseball field. We've changed our direction on that, and we'd like to put other amenities. Like, you know, my personal opinion is that'd be a great place for pickleball courts. It'd be a great place for the little senior exercise area that we were talking about. We could just do a lot of different things there that would maybe attract other interests other than just youth baseball and softball. So,
Was one of them a multi-purpose field that was?
Well, that is, but the multi-purpose field is actually, there's another like 20 acres of land that's being farmed, and that's where that multi-purpose field is supposed to be. The original plan, right off the Doty Pond, was another community building. That was 20-some years ago, so that was another idea, and who knows if that's ever a possibility or not, too. But like I said, you know, small towns, a lot of positive things, but you got to just be patient with funding, and good things will happen if you're patient. So I think this will be a great addition to our park system moving forward. So.
Lance, do you still have is the walking track still over there, the one that was?
It is, but like where the small baseball field is,
Yeah.
right now that part's underwater. Because when we get rains, it all drains to that area, and that's what we need to correct. But yeah, there is a walking loop that goes around the entire area, plus around the pond and that. So, and it still gets utilized quite a bit. You know, if you come in the mornings or in the evenings around dusk, there are people walking around the trails, just like they are at Watrous Park too. I mean, any trail that we have, people utilize quite a bit.
Lance, today at the meeting that we had with the Just Transition Group and MCDC, the plan that they have for the future of Morgan County, one part of it talked about maybe a need for a large sports park, like a really large, like a venue where you have a lot of tournaments, things like that. It made me think of your project when we had the multi-purpose field. May not be as big as some of the ones we've seen, you see other places, but for Morgan County, collectively, that's a pretty good footprint of sports parks or field.
Yeah, I will, just like the Summer Sizzler that we host, right now, we get around 24 teams, and that's because that's max. That's 8 teams on Sunset, 8 teams on J Field, and 8 teams on infield. With these two fields, and if we ever get lighting on them, I mean, it is a great economic driver. People staying in the hotels, restaurants, and all that sort of thing too. I mean, it doesn't make up all that money, of course, but it's big business in a lot of different places, but again, it just takes a lot of money, and you know, at that point, you got to start talking about, is it better off building these fields with artificial turf and taking that big cost up front because of all the water and everything and the manpower and stuff it takes. But those are discussions for other days probably. But no, excited. It's been a long time coming. Just so you know that the small field's 220 feet, and that's for girls fast pitch and youth baseball up to 10 years old. And then the big field is basically you can do all the way up to 14-year-olds in baseball, and then it's more like an adult softball field, 300 feet. So you can utilize everything on that bigger field. The smaller field, we're trying to just focus on the youth with those.
Also, maybe a spot for food trucks for Counselor Spratt.
Yeah.
Since he's not here.
I know Vernon Gray, they're only two, they can't have every concession stand. So, food trucks would be great. Is there any other, and then, I think there was one more thing I wanted to mention. Gosh, I can't think of it, so.
You have the Memphis trip going on.
The Memphis trip is going on, yes, but there was something else. I am scheduling another swimming pool informational meeting. That'll be in the next, probably the next 2 weeks. What we would like to do at this next meeting or the meeting after is actually call a pool construction company and just have them talk to us about what we're looking at when you're talking about a new swimming pool and what process they went through in the past building those, just because this is new. This will be a high dollar deal and just kind of new territory for us. So we'd like for one of them to come in that's maybe done a pool or two for our rural community and give us some idea of what to look for. So that is going to be coming up here in the next few weeks. So.
Did you ever hear anything back from, like, we were looking at that grant for that equipment, and then he just
keeps
kind
calling
of...
me, and he wants to schedule a date, but he wants me to, like, commit match money, and I told him, I go, I can't commit match money. I go, that's, I'm meeting with a foundation for a request here in the next week or so, but I didn't want to, he just kept on saying, okay, so you can come up with this money. I go, no, that's not how this works, Once we're awarded the money, we'll do everything we can to get the funding. So we still get emails back and forth every now and then and stuff, and I tell them, I go, we're out in budget season now, and I'll put it in the budget, but unless there's foundation help, we don't, that's not a project that's really on the radar, so.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Pastrin.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's great to be here. Just to let you know, our 2026 budget cycle is underway and on schedule. So thank you to staff for completing their proposed operating and maintenance budgets. We look forward to presenting their line item requests at the next council meeting. So everything's on schedule. Our department welcomes our newest team member. Her name is Jeanette Wacker. She serves as our new accounts payable technician. There's been an awful lot of training in our department, so we're all keeping very busy, but we welcome her experience, and we look forward to her serving the organization and the community. And on behalf of my team, I want to thank the citizens and the ratepayers of our community for their understanding and their patience as we work through the computer issues that we had with processing our August utility bills. Along with them being late, it caused a little bit of confusion because they went out as a paper bill, not as the normal postcard. So that caused some confusion, as well as there were some opportunities that some of the bills were double and tripled. So for those who have communicated with us, we've had some great conversations, and we've come out very well on the other end of that with everybody understanding what happened. One item of confusion was that everyone, including those who were set up for auto pay or electronic payment, received a bill. And when you're not used to receiving a bill, it certainly can cause some concern. So we did have some great conversations, as is stated, and we were able to put all of our auto pay customers at ease that nothing had changed in regards to their auto payments. It was just in the presentation of the bill that they're not used to having. So everything was good on their part as what their payments coming out of their bank account.
And it won't necessarily be the wrong payment that's
Correct.
showing on the bill.
Right. So we just want to assure them that all is well on that end. And we still encourage anyone who has any questions or concerns to please contact us at City Hall. We'd love to go through and explain all of that to them. We want to express our sincerest apologies. It wasn't something that was anticipated. It was one of those flukes that happens. And on a positive note, we know September will be better. So, and speaking of August billings, I just want to let you know we sent out over 2,049 bills, how many customers were billed. Of those, 541 are electronic payments. So we have about 26.4% of our customers who are on electronic pay. So which is actually up from 24.9 at the beginning of the year. So we're making some ground, and we're going to continue to concentrate on that and monitor that in our office, and to communicate with our customers and the ratepayers that the benefits of going electronic. So that's kind of nice to have that data out there and available. And I just want to also give a kudos to the water department. They have been working very well with our department, with the utility billing process, and going through and starting an internal audit for the last couple of months, looking at zero reads and any of the rereads. And so that has done really well in minimizing the number of zero reads that we're having, looking at the new meters, how they're doing well with the reads. So yeah, they have just worked really hard and diligent with our front office. So that we will continue to do that in the months to come. So that's what I have for you this evening.
Will the bills go back to the postcards, or will they continue to be the paper?
They will go back to the postcards.
Okay.
Yes, at this time, this was just a one-time situation.
Okay.
So, yeah. Put things a little back to normal. We can all feel a little better.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
HR, Kindex. Alrighty. Miranda Packard.
Just a couple things to mention. First, the City of Brush is a member of the Brush Rotary Club, and the Prasher Dasher is coming up on September 20th. This year it's been moved over to, and I'm not going to say it right, Twamore Trail over in Fort Morgan. And that's because it's an even 3.1 miles, there's no traffic, so therefore you don't need as many volunteers. So we're going to try it out this year. The registration can go directly to the website of PrasherDasher.com or through our recreation office. And then Jody had mentioned the Kids at Their Best event going on this Saturday. We do have 10 complimentary tickets for any council members who would like to attend. And that's all I have, unless there are any questions.
All right, thank you. We've got our city attorney on the phone. Dan Crabb, you got anything for us? Maybe. Are you there, Dan?
He is not there.
He's not there? Oh, I just see his name, I guess.
Oh, I thought he was on.
I thought he was too.
You're about to wake up a good nap.
He says he's watching online, but please call when we can, so I'll get him back.
Oh, okay.
He must not have a connection right now.
Okay. We will
Drive on.
drive on.
Okay, just a few items or updates. One is 7 Circle Drive. I really would wish that we would have started knocking down that building, but I guess the asbestos permit from the state of Colorado, or demolition permit, I think it is, we're waiting for that, and Patrick explained that as soon as that is done and the asbestos is out, then shortly after, Western Cleanup will knock down the building. The other thing is on a land purchase and a utility agreement that we've been working on with the current customer. We're working on that, and they apologize, it's on their end, it's taken longer than what they thought, but they were pretty sure by the end of this month they'll have an answer to us on that one. And that was discussed with council prior. So if you have any questions, you can ask me offline on that one. Tyler Fordale mentioned the street projects that were taking place, and tomorrow the street crews, they're going to be doing a demo on a piece of equipment that takes not huge quantities but pretty good amounts of old asphalt chunks, loose asphalt. They throw it in this tumbler's machine, it turns it around, and it makes essentially new asphalt. They're looking at that because they want to see if that will help them with better maintaining the streets. We're making a lot of progress right now, but a lot of times whenever there's a small cut in the street or something like that, instead of waiting for weeks and weeks before they can get an asphalt truck in with a load big enough. They can just mix their own on the spot and do a lot of the patching, and where crack filling is, the cracks are too wide, they can patch it with this piece of equipment. So they're going to be doing that tomorrow, so we'll see where that goes, if it's worth our time and effort and money to buy it. The other thing is, it's because I'm the holdup right now, but Tyler's worked on an RFP for the Brush Agri Park. At a previous meeting, we talked about how do we start marketing that. And so it's in my inbox to look at that RFP process to see what that looks like, but we'll bring that back to the city council. And that is one of our goals by the end of the year, is to know our path forward on how we're gonna heavily market the Brush Agri Park and those lots that are available. And that's it.
Good. All right, we have Dan back. Are you there, Dan?
I am. Thank you, Mayor, and I apologize. There's like a 5-second delay, it seems like, between YouTube and this, but I was listening to the meeting. I hate goat heads as well, and kids are the best grade. I don't have anything for you guys, but happy to answer your questions.
Anybody have any questions for Dan? All right. All right, thank you, Dan.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Mayor and Council reports. Anybody have anything to report?
I do have a question or a concern. So where the Family Dollar was going to go, nobody's been taking care of that. So when I was coming home from Beaver Valley the other night after work, there was kids walking from school, and the weeds and stuff have come over the sidewalk. So they're jumping down into the road to go around that. Is there any way that we can get that cleaned up? I mean, you don't have to mow all of it, but just the sidewalk, because kids are coming into the street with traffic coming, to make sure that they're not stepping in the weeds.
Yeah, we'll have Chief see what the code enforcement's done today about it and see if it's on our list of cleanups. And if it's not, and if just need to make sure we notify them to get it done. If they haven't been responsive, we can move forward with getting it cleaned up and rebuild back to them.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All right. So with that, I will look for a motion to adjourn so we can move to our work session.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right. So we will go into our work session.
Now, is everyone ready to just roll right into it?
Let's go, Monty.
All right, very good. Okay. Hey, here's the good news is the first item, number 10, we're going to scratch that. I don't have Dell here. We had some discussions on that one. And we'll bring that one back to the council. We have just a little bit more time on that one, so not a big rush. But Brandon wanted to talk about license plate readers and just kind of get a feel, no decisions, but a feel of